No, the Great Deception already happened. I'm quite sure about this, and the reason is because how many people know as much as you or I? You know what I mean? The people have been deceived, and I think the Great Deception is that Freemasonry controls everything. The mark of the beast is Freemasonry. No one may buy or sell without the mark of the beast. What's the mark of the beast? Being a Freemason. Freemasonry is the mark of the beast. It's if you don't have it, you can have a car, but you go into debt for it, right? They have some kind of ability to choose. That's the idea. Everyone else is in debt slavery. They may have debt superficially, but yeah, no. So to me, that's because, especially the mark of the beast thing for them, it's very neat to talk about Freemasonry as the mark of the beast, and then it follows that this beast system has been the Great Deception, the Great Delusion. I mean, I think it's also a little bit of a thing of like a fear porn of like, oh, it's gonna get even worse. I don't think so. I don't think so. How is it going to get worse? But I think people want to believe it'll be worse. Well, first of all, it's part of the issue is Christianity. When all this is over, there's no Christianity left. So people think that Jesus was talking about going to church on Sundays and being a nice little chaste Christian, and that's not the case. No, there's something inherently wrong with it, but it comes out of delusion. It's not powerful enough. Showing up at a building every Sunday isn't. So, to me, I think that yeah, I think that the aliens coming is the second coming of Christ, and Frater Eleutherius says the same thing, that it's the second coming of Christ. I said it before I even saw that he said it, though, and yeah, I've seen some influencers say it'll be the mark of that this is the beast system, that this is blah 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 blah. I really don't think so. I think the other thing is the government. Okay, let's say quote unquote the cabal aren't as powerful as people seem to think. I mean, certainly they're in control, but they're still a disgusting minority of the population. So if they can't manage to get people to believe in the shadows on the wall, on the illusion, then they lose all of their power practically. Because the system works when people are willing to vest their life force, their hopes, their dreams, everything into it. Their souls. As long as people are willing to sell their souls, but when people start to make the connection that there's other ways to do things, and the Judeo-Christian scenario is not all that is not the only good in the universe, and it's not even hardly really a true thing once you get above a certain level. It causes some issues. I'm going to say this as well. If humanity goes on to the AI timeline, the timeline of negative AI, of being controlled by machinery and whatnot, it's because humanity has made that choice. Humanity has picked the dark path, and humanity had complete freedom to pick good or bad. So if it goes that way, I think it should be no great thing to anyone, and we'll just reincarnate elsewhere. So if it's for the worse, I've seen the future though of the AI stuff. It's pretty cool actually. If you can master your mind, if you can use the machinery to expand your consciousness, not just expand your knowledge, not expand your recall of facts, but to expand your knowledge. Then you can, or to expand your consciousness, to expand your intellect, your mind over the machinery. If you can do that, then it kind of covers the downside of the iron. Also, the planet Saturn is purifying, so there's kind of a lot of things cooking at once. I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna go, but I don't think there's any reason to think it's gonna go all bad. And I think a lot of the problems going on now, like the games industry, Hollywood, all these outlets are coming out with innumerable distractions, and it's not really distracting anyone. And I think this is part of the reason. I think like serious take. I think if certain video games and movies had done better, as far as, people going to theaters and sales figures and whatnot, because this represents confidence in the system in a way. I think if some of these indicators would have turned out better, I think that they would have held back the Epstein files. Also, the internet meme warfare. If people hadn't aggressively memed about it, come onto the internet and memed about it every day for years, I don't think that the Epstein, that they would have dug into it. I think it would have gotten buried. But I think genuinely, where attention goes, energy flows. I want the things of the Epstein files to be revealed. I have that in my deep consciousness. That's something I want. I want that to go a certain way. And people left, right, everyone wants it. And I think a lot of these things are much more inevitable when people say, "Oh, it's very curated and controlled." They're controlling what they can, but I mean, just the fact that the Epstein files have come out is a huge. It's these things were kept secret for centuries or perhaps millennia, and now we know. And I think people are like kind of detracting from the significance of that alone, that the cannibalism is now known about. That it was, who knows how long that this has been going on. I hope it's a recent development in the last century or two, but I don't think that it is. Perhaps since World War II, but I don't think so. I don't think it's a recent development. And this is a big hallmark of the freeing of human consciousness. From some of its own worst habits, I suppose. And then, in addition to that, aliens. I think aliens is being brought a little bit to distract from Epstein and stuff, but I think all they're doing is showing the deeper side of it, though. So it's almost like they have to throw us all the information so that we aren't as concerned with the worst of it. You know what I mean? Because aliens are exciting. I think there's an element of that, but I think at the end of the day, it's all gonna go down. And I think it's quite possible that many high-ranking Masons and whatnot might escape prison. I think they might pull a Nazi high command and all end up somewhere else. Like the Nazis went to Argentina, they might go somewhere, perhaps off-world even. I don't know if they have such ability to go. But I think a big changing of the guard is coming. That being said, like the Klaus Schwab, the Great Reset, World Economic Forum, etc., there's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist tendency to think all of these things are inherently negative. I don't know if it's negative. I think that the Great Reset might actually be a good thing. I mean, the thing is, we're eating the bodies of highly intelligent creatures right now. We're even eating cows is terrible karma, Eating cows, eating chickens isn't as bad as cows, fish. I mean, if they make tasty bug protein that's very, sustainable, and everyone can, you know, the world can support an enormous population. You know what I mean? Like, things are already. This is what people don't get is things are already terrible. Things are already terrible. Astaroth told me about cannibalism 5 years ago, and I could hardly believe it. And I'm like, it's some distant, critical small mass of some critical core elite somewhere off somewhere, right? No, they're doing it in America, in your country. I'm like, what? Why? Yeah. You know, and I was mind blown. Astaroth told me many of these things. I knew most of the things I've heard from the Epstein files. Astaroth told me 5 years ago. So, and there's even things not in the Epstein files that are terrible. I mean, you're being aggressively poisoned through television, or the entire the majority, the entire population of TV watchers in the earth is being aggressively psychologically poisoned through television every single day, but so there's, I think this is something where, okay, I think it's good to know what all these things mean and where it all connects, etc., etc., etc. But like, what can someone survive with? How is society going to work now? You know, take what we have now and think, what's the next one step that can be better, instead of just saying everything is bad. This is what conspiracy theorists are really bad at, because it's just, oh, the system's terrible, we gotta protect the Judeo-Christian ethic, but also Jews are bad, so we have to protect this. It's total delusion. Christianity must die. The Abrahamic religions must die. Besides perhaps Judaism. You know what I mean? Like, humanity must step forward. It's going backwards. That's my problem with neo-Nazis. There is no stepping backwards. It won't happen. That's why I've eventually had to let go of communism, even, you know, let go of my communist friends, because there's no backpedaling. The human race must move forward, and there's just too many developments. Moving backwards, you let go of too much progress. You know what I mean? It's you know, we're in a chess game, and you know, if you lose a piece, it's gone. You know, if you've advanced a certain position, going backwards is only detrimental. And this is one thing that a little bit scares me about a lot of the conspiracy theorist type thing. And I think a lot of the conspiracy theorist community is a little bit of a shit test to throw the question out to the collective of all humans and say, are you ready for the next step? Are you ready to think through things and have temperance and consider what? Because like me and you talking, we both have temperance, and you know, a lot of my friends do. I don't really like to fraternize with people who are not temperate, who don't have that mental cool that they can digest these things without, you know, having to have a lot of like ego attached to it. But there are people out there, I've met them, they're completely insane, and they have these very strong values, but they don't you know what I mean? It's so that, and to that, I think that connects to the Great Deception too, because the Great Deception or the Great Delusion, I also always saw it written as the Great Delusion in the I think it's the ESV version of the Bible. I think it's just this thing, because the mark of the beast is 666. 6 is Tiferet, 3 times is superlative. It means that people are controlled by their egos. That's why it's on the head and the hands, because the head and the right hand, that acts, acts of the hand and the thoughts of the head, the intentions of the mind are all egotistical, and people are enslaved by the illusions of their ego, the illusions of the Luciferian government that is projecting onto them through television, mass media, billboards, whatever. And those who are faithful will have 777. 7 is Netzach. It is Venus. It is Lucifer. And in Revelation, Jesus Christ is called the morning star. So this is the light of inspiration, because Venus is not only love, it is intellect, it is inspiration, it is the seed of something new. And yeah, so that's my anticipation. I'm very excited, and I think things are gonna get better. I'm very excited for the next. Maybe it'll be another 10 years before things start to actually get better, but I can wait. I am very excited for this next coming age.